What's up, YouTube? What's up, Extreme Gains family? I'm Chuck. This is Extreme Gains. And we're going to do a live stream here Sunday morning. And we're going to do some charting. And we'll see whether or not anybody actually comes in to join or not. Hey guys, what's happening? What's happening? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good Sunday morning. Let's go. What's up, guys? What's up, Rob? What's up, Pete? What's up, Kabosh? What's happening? Morning. How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? How are you all doing? What's happening? How was Christmas for everybody? Christmas all right for everybody? Awesome. Doing fantastic. Good, Pete. I'm good, man. I'm good. Just trying to get my brain moving again here. That's why I figured we'd just do something like this. If anybody was interested. Hey, Fred, how are you? If anybody was interested and wasn't doing anything this morning, still having coffee, maybe we could just get our brains moving a little bit. Hey, Chris. Good, man. I'm glad. You mean Christmas was cool? It was cool, Christmas? Good, good, good. Alright, I can move that. Good. Yeah, mine was too. Mine was easy going, relaxed, chill. Relax, chill. It was good. What do you guys think of the I always do that to this shoulder. The new backdrop. I think that thing's badass. My brother, my mom and my brother kind of went in. My brother owns a vinyl graphics and a graphics installation company down in Florida that he operates out of. He works all over the country, but this is like one of the, something he does. So they snuck behind my back and got my logo and then went ahead and had that made for when I stream here. I think that was pretty badass. I love it. It was hell getting it put up and getting it to look decent for on the camera, but yeah, I love it. Cool, Chris. Good deal. Merry Christmas, JJ. What's up, brother? Time for Dallas Direct Shop today. You think? What my Steelers, that game, man, I don't know. Tyreek's out though. I did see that. I noticed it right away from the video you posted an hour ago. Love it. Yeah, it's pretty badass. Thanks, Pete. I do too, man. I think it's badass. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I was super excited, man. I was like, oh no way. When you see me looking over here, I'm looking at how it looks and like what y'all are seeing. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass to get up, but and get it, the place good enough that the stream would pick it all up, but yeah, I love it. Love it. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm just, like I said, just trying to get my brain moving. I just released the video. I know I probably didn't give you all much time to watch it, but I put that out. Yeah, nah, Tyreek. Oh, is he cleared? Oh, damn it. I saw that he was on COVID list, and I thought maybe he was out, but yeah, either or. We don't have anybody to cover him anyway, so you know what I mean. The only one we got's Hayden and Fitzpatrick. Those are the only two. Fitz and Hayden. That's it. But oh well, we'll see. I'm waiting too. We play the late game. When do you guys play? When's Dallas play? They play late or early? You see that? But yeah, I put that video out there to just break down the two scenarios and where we're at within those scenarios. But I'm going to show you guys here what I'm doing. I'm going to show you here in a minute what I got going on. Wait till you see this. It's kind of piggybacking off of so when I broke down the all right, let's read here. Hold on. To be honest, Chuck, I'm having a difficult time deciding where I'm going to retire early. Florida coast or out west where humidity is low. Yeah, yeah, the humidity down in Florida is unbearable, Fred, in the summers. When I ran the construction outfit down there, that's what it was. It was outside, and I think a lot of it between the sun and that contributed to the melanoma that I had originally gotten. But yeah, man, it's nasty. The humidity's nasty in the summer. Literally, it's unbearable. You walk outside your car and you can't breathe. It's like right in your face as soon as you walk outside. It's terrible. But yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on what you want, Fred. But yeah, I could see where that would be a a pendulum. Or which one? I need Tyreek to go off. Sorry, no, it's all good. I'm in semifinals, paid out. Oh, sweet, yeah, hell yeah. He might, bro. As long as what's his face, the quarterback for KC, I can't remember his name right now, but because I'm into chart and stuff, mindset. But yeah, as long as they protect him, he'll be all right. I think Tyreek will go off if that happens. Dallas has the night game. Okay, 8 o'clock. Good morning, Sharon. How are you? Dallas plays at 20. Okay, cool. Good morning. Good morning. I'm retiring right here. Hell yeah, Pete. That's where I'm at. Yeah, so what I had done here, I'm going to show you guys here. I'm going to finish this. This is the January to June run up that I'm trying to. I want to show you guys this, but I want to finish this real quick. Devontae Adams. Oh wow, yeah. Did you see how many Devontae dropped yesterday? Had he caught half of what he dropped on top of what he did, he would have had an enormous game. He dropped a ton, especially in the end of the game. I watched that game. He was lights out till the end of the game. Hey Dino, good morning. How are you? How are you? How are you? Yeah, so what I started doing was I took the micro Algo fractal stencil that I use, and I like I showed you guys on Thursday. I had started trying to use this on the macro cycle to see what I came up with. So I've been working that a little bit this weekend, and the results are crazy. And I want to show you guys this. Let me come up here and show you. I wanna really break it down, and I will here in a minute. I'm gonna put some side-by-side charts up for you. I want you to look at this. So, all right, let me give you the overall perspective first. And I hope I can explain this to you guys, because I really, to be honest with y'all, I got stuck. These people. So I'm guessing late March. I'm guessing, I don't know, fucking July. Maybe we're not doing nothing until July. I don't know. So yeah, I think I could really use y'all's help, because let me just see if I can get there. Let me see if I can explain it and get there, and then I'll see how that turns out, because this is not planned at all. And this is why I haven't done a video on it, because I'm not quite sure how to explain all of this and break this down yet. So I thought, well, let's just do a live stream and then I'll chart and drink maybe a cup or two of coffee or whatever, and hang out with you guys here and try to get our brains moving again on this stuff. And I wanted to get you guys in on it. Definitely wanted to get the Discord in on it. I don't know how to do. That's the other thing. I'm going to set you guys up as moderators before tomorrow as well that volunteered. Sharon and Pete and JJ. I'm going to get you guys set up. So I'll be reaching out to you guys. I'll be letting you guys know one way or the other, but I need your information and stuff. If I don't have what I need, I'll reach out. But I'm gonna get you guys. Hey, Ayanda, I'm gonna put you guys on for tomorrow. For you'll be like that forever then, obviously, unless something goes awry. But anyways, this is what I was looking at, right? So I started taking these. Turn this down. I can't wait for more. Yeah, I think we're gonna. I don't want to say yet. I want you to look at this. So. This was okay, Pete, thank you. Yeah, if I don't have your information, email that stuff to me at the email, the Extreme Gains email. And then I will, that way I can get you guys on. I appreciate you guys again volunteering and being a part of the team with me here. Help me keep this shit under control. Okay, so this was the end result, basically, okay? I'm going to kind of work backwards, and I'm going to explain to you what it is that what ended up happening, and give you kind of a rough thesis as to what I think potentially. Now, I don't know this for sure yet because I haven't really connected it all yet, but here's what I think. Yeah, it's what I think, and I wrote it down here. Okay, I think there's two algorithms playing. I think it's the same algo. However, one is a bullish result and one is a bearish result. However, both of them play out the exact same movements. The bullish, obviously, in an uptrend fashion, the bearish in a downtrend fashion, right? One is longer than the other, right? They are the same amount of time to a certain point. And I'm going to show you where that point is. We're at it right now. Currently in our day-to-day movement right now, we're sitting right at that, which I'm going to show you. But they come to this certain point, and then from that movement on, one goes longer before, and I'm going to show you the difference between them. But what I did was I did this comparison from. And like I was pointing out on Wednesday and Thursday, I said one of them, right, we were looking at both micro and macro, and they were the exact same thing, right? And what I was saying was, and I was having a hard time articulating this on Wednesday and Thursday, but one of them has to be telling us where we're going, right? So in my theory, it's got to, and in realistic, like common sense, it's got to be the micro. The micro has to be telling the macro where to go, right? Because the micro becomes the macro, okay? So with that in mind, what I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to decipher and determine what separates them, right? And what indicates the bearish move after the certain point or the bullish move after the certain point. And if you see here what I did, and just to give you the macro overview first, what I did is, and I'm going to go through this with you guys so you guys can see this, but I did like I was doing on Wednesday and Thursday, where I had like the 5 minute, which I'm using the 10 minute to show you today, but the 5 minute and the 4 hour. And then on the 5 minute, with 2 days worth of trading on the 5 minute, shows on the 4 hour the entire movement from June till now. Right? And we saw that it matches up perfectly. So what I did is I went back through and I kept scrolling through and I put markers in, and that's what these vertical lines are. I put markers in where on the micro time frame, the 10 minute or the 5 minute time frame, where each one ended and then started over again, right? Where it began again and where it ended. And this is how they ended up. So when I didn't see this until I had zoomed out. I did it on the micro, and then I zoomed out and I looked, and you see the pattern? See the pattern in time frame? So this is where it begins. The whole algorithm plays out in this time frame to here and ends, and then it starts over. And then the whole one plays out again here, and then it ends, and then it starts over. And then again here, same thing, starts here, ends here, starts here, ends here, starts here, and it's going to end here. And you can see the spacing on the time from start to finish is alternating. Remember me saying this? I said it felt like the descending wedges were alternating. Remember there were 4 descending wedges in a macro fractal, and there were 3 box tops or 4 touch top points, right? Which I was calling the same thing. That we're calling it a box top now, I guess, because it seems to flow a little better. But and it describes it a little better too. But they were alternating, right? And it was descending wedge, box top, descending wedge, box top, descending wedge, box top, descending wedge. And it was 4 descending wedges and 3 box tops in between. So it was alternating, right? Well, that would coincide with this. So the time frames are alternating. So what I believe is happening is yeah, and I those are the details of it, of what I think might be happening, but I'm not sure. But what's happening is they're alternating. I believe there's 2 different, it's the same thing, which I'm about to show you, but they're different, right? The outcome is different. And there's a certain point, like I said, there's this point here, right, which would be like right here, where on this one is different than this one, and this one extends and goes this extra length before it goes. And I believe it's the bullish at the end of it versus it becoming bearish right away, right? Bearish right away, bullish at the end of it, and then bearish. But I'm trying to figure all this out in the details. What's up, Mr. Biz? Trying to figure out all these details, but here, this is what it ended up looking like macro once I zoomed out. And what I'm also doing here is, again, I told you I was trying to take the micro fractal stencil and put it on the macro time frame like I did here. And I didn't do the whole pennant and everything. I just did the box top and then the bottom support that takes us to the which in these, it's not technically taking us to the high, but it's taking us to the far right before the decline, the far right point before the decline on every one of them. I don't know, Pete. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But it initially indicates to me. I mean, if you look here, this one here, as soon as we enter the orange fractal phase here, time frame, we drop down right on the macro fractal to make the W before the bullish move, right? And then we come back up for the box top. See box top, breakdown, W, breakout, box top in the short time frame, breakdown, W. Now this one happened a little sooner here, right? But that's compared to this one and this one, this should have been out here, but there was a change that happened here, and I've told you guys this before. I noticed it when back on the 12th of November, and it ended up being, I think, like between the 22nd and 26th or 27th when we actually took the turn down, 11/24. Yeah, so like the 22nd when we took the turn down, 20 and 22 we took the turn down, but I noticed it back here where we had diverted, which is I knew this downside was coming versus a breakout to the upside. So something happened, and I haven't been able to justify that even with the movements. It almost seems to me like they switched it, like they literally switched it to the bearish one. If this is what's going on, it almost just like out of nowhere, they did it. Everything was lined up for this to be another right here, another bullish box top, right? Another breakout to a bullish box top. And then this, if it would have kept following what this did here, this would have been the breakout bullish box top right here that would have happened in here, which it was this. This just would have happened here, right? And then we would have had a little bit of down movement here into the next fractal here, and then back up, right, for this parabolic movement here. Had it followed this, but these two are not the same fractals. I want to emphasize that. So it's no sense even comparing these, because this is a completely different fractal than this. This is almost like the like I said, it's leg one of the actual blow up that we had from this. So none of there they are. I was gonna say so let me zoom out and show you. I want you guys to get a real overall perspective too of what it is that's going on here as well. Right? This is the from IPO. This is the movement that I showed you, the big descending wedge fractal with the double bottom that's down in here, right here. Boom, 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 boom. And then we got our first leg up, consolidation, second leg up, and now we went back into this descending wedge pattern, but we started off in a bearish megaphone, and then we bounced at the confluence here, and now we're in a bullish megaphone. And this is the real mega macro overlook. So we're entering a bullish period. Yes, it looks like it'll drop first. What was the date on that drop? You said November. Yeah, November 24 was when it was already turned down and started dropping. I believe November 22 was when the turn down was initiated, I believe. Hold on. Yeah, November 22 was where this brought us. This would have been the last furthest to the right of the box top. So November 22 was when, but like I said, I was in the 12th or 11th or 12th. I know that for certain. So it was the 11th. It was right here. But anyways, okay, so I wanted to show that first. Now what I want to do is I want to, and I kept this one the same as what we've been tracking with the descending wedge. But what I want to do is I want to go take this one to the 5 minute. Actually, let's go 10 minute because I can show you more of it. And you're going to have to kind of look past the line, all the different fractal lines. I want you to pay more attention to the actual candles on the chart, and then the overall shape of, and I'm going to kind of fly through this a little bit, but because I want to get through the whole thing here. But what I want you to pay attention to is, right, this is the overall, now this is the overall algorithm, right? From now, the micro algorithms we've already determined are these, right? This is the micro algorithm like this. It starts here with the box top. Well, it could be here too. We start here with the box top. We go down. Remember, we break down through all three supports. We make a W. Once we make a W, then we either dissolve into another box top or we blow up parabolic into another box top, right? That's what's happening on a micro level over and over and over and over and over again, right? But on a macro level, and it's happening here on a macro level too, which is why I did that on here to show you, right? Box top, we broke down all three, we make this W, we break up again, parabolic box top. We make a W, this one we broke up, a little mini parabolic, but more of a, this one here was more of a dissolve. We break down, and I believe we're going to make a W, and then we're going to break up. Now, what I'm trying to use all this information for, obviously, is to figure out, are we going to break up parabolic, or are we going to dissolve into another lower box top, like down here per se, like somewhere down here, right? And then come back down. So these are the things that I'm trying to look at and determine. You know, I'm trying to determine, are we going to get another box top like here? Or are we going to really push up and go parabolic like we did for a run up? Okay, those are the things I'm trying to determine, as well as take into consideration the single bottom scenario, because if either way, we're getting one of those down here. We're going to either get the single bottom or the double bottom, regardless. Okay, so, but I'm keeping the single bottom in the back of my mind as well for a grind up versus like the double and then the parabolic, which would, the double and the parabolic would lend itself to this theory of using the micro stencil on here and showing how it runs up to these next highs. But again, I'm trying to put all this together and connect the dots. So if I'm trying not to be all over the place here for you guys, I want to get you all thought, how severe will the drop be before we move up? I don't know. I think that even if we did, oh, you mean like in the immediate? Well, in the immediate, here on the daily, if we come back down here to make another bottom, what's happening is we have the, this should be out here. We have this $20 support of not only the megaphone, but we have the $20 support of the descending wedge, the macro yellow descending wedge. So if we were to break this back down here and make another W, we have those right here trying to hold us up. We could go down to fill that gap if it were to happen. I mean, that's always a possibility. So all of those things are on the table for possibility. So yeah, just keep that in mind as far as going down far. But I know you said the market makers determine how the graph plays with volume. I'm remembering during that period, November, that was the start of the crypto crash. It was perfectly timed with this. Yeah, I've already, 2 cycles as a previous friend. Yeah, I've already been, Ben. So that's the videos. I've been putting that out for over a month now about the previous fractal December 2020. That's the double bottom scenario that I've been looking at with a confluence of support that would do that. Up in the SPY be the key determining which option will ultimately be. Well, as long as we get the negative beta reaction to the SPY, then yeah, that would be the dictator. I think that would be the most dictative thing for this, as long as we get that reaction. But yeah, so hold on, let me do this real quick. You guys are firing away. Let me do this real fast here. I want to run through this, and then hey, Ben, if you go look at the video, I just put it out, bro, just before I went live here, where I look at the 2 different scenarios that I've been looking at for over a month. SP stock growth. One is a single bottom scenario that is related to the SPY and Dollar Tree back in 0809, 07, 0809. When the negative beta, you have to go check it out for context. But then I also showed the and I've been talking about this, the December 2020, prior to the run up in January 2021, there was a 7-year fractal that is identical to the descending wedge fractal that we're in, as well as a big megaphone structure that's housing the whole thing. I've been talking about it for, like I said, for over a month. Yeah, I've been saying the same thing, Ben. It's very possible. It's the exact same thing. I've been talking about this for probably more than, I know it's more than a month. Where we're in the same thing. We're in a megaphone structure. We're in a macro descending wedge inside of that. It's a 7-year fractal that played out from IPO to 2021, and now we're in the exact same thing compressed. It was a 7-year. and we've been compressed into a 7-month. Go check out my videos, brother. I've been talking about it for a while now. That's scenario 2, but I agree with you, man. I think that's a very possible thing. I don't believe that it 100% yet that it is, but it's a possibility. It sure looks like it, but it also looks like the SPY scenario that I talk about as well. But yeah, I'm glad somebody else is talking about that too, man. Area that you think that, anyways. Check it out. Okay, so check this out, y'all. This is what we were looking at on, what was it, Wednesday, Thursday? I think it was Wednesday when this first came up, and we were like, holy shit, right? So, like I said, these here, I don't have that up in here. So these here are the total algo that runs itself over and over and over, right? We've identified that. But what I want to do, and I don't want to concentrate so much on the like super micro. I don't want you looking at like 1 minute and saying, well, there's 2 more in here because there is one here and then there's one here. Like, I don't want you doing that. Just look here at this overall, right? And what I started doing was tracking this backwards, right? Pull that down. I started tracking this thing backwards. Yeah, it's not always that easy though, Ben. I wish it was, man. I can show you a bunch of different cycles and fractal patterns that look the same as where we're at right now. Again, bro, go watch my video that I just put out. There's one I made about a month ago prior to this one that really goes into detail about the SPY and the dollar tree and their correlation to AMC and the SPY right now. It looks even more identical currently than the double bottom scenario of the fractal previous to the January 2021 run-up. So there's more to it than it just looks like it. But go check that out, bro. Or after this, if you want to hang around for this. But anyways, here, this is what I was looking at, right? This is where we're at, okay? On macro. And here's where we're at. This is our micro movement. This is on the 10-minute chart, right? So these are days. And each one of these candles are days. So each one of these day movements are one of these candles. So keep that in concept in your head, right? But look, it's the exact same thing. And I track these backwards, right? Pull this in so it makes a little more sense. Here we go. There it is. So here's our dip. Here's our single bottom. Here's our M, our run up, our box top, right? Down, consolidate, down a little more, and right here we are. So my first question was, does the micro indicate now, because it's out ahead of where we're at right now, is it going to indicate where we're going? Because watch it, once you track it back, right, here we go, here's the W, right, check up, come up, here's our triple, our two topper here, then we have another higher two topper here, another higher two topper here. Actually, was this on the 4? Did I have this on 4? Yes. I had this on 4. Sorry. This is what I want to see. Okay. Right? Higher two top, right? Then we come down. Damn it, Chuck. Then we come down in, make this head and shoulders, right? We come down in, we lump up, here's the head and shoulders. Come down in more, W, I run up. And then we come up for this box top here. Here's the box top here. All right, then we come down, come up, here, and then here's this spike down bottom here. This is a spike down bottom here. Then we start working our way up to this. We work our way up to this. And then we break down and have a W, break down and have a W. We break up, pull down, break up, pull down, and then we break up into this, come up into this, right? Then we come down in, and we come back up, and we come back up, and then here we are at the top, up here. And this line here is the beginning of the fractal. This is, and now here we are, 11/24. So from November 24th until now, where we're at, this entire macro thing, fractal, has played out from November 24th until now. The entire thing, right? And then it repeats. And here's what I'm talking about, where I'm trying to determine what it is that indicates. Like I said, one of them seems to be a bullish version of it, where we at uptrends. It's this entire movement playing out, right? But more or less in an uptrend on a micro time frame, versus this entire movement right here playing out exactly, but in a downtrend, on a bearish movement, right? So look, here it is again. I'll do it one more time here and show you. So we just went from current to November 24th, right? We just walked through all of them. So here we are. Same thing, right? Top, down, head and shoulders, down in, right here, we're right here, down in, we make that, we come up, right here's the same movement, right here, we come back up, here's our running top. This is the last part of it right here. Oh, yep, right there it is. We come down in, right here. Here is right here. Then we move back up. We're moving up in here now. And then we have this here, is this here. And then we come back in and make our W. Okay. Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah, we make our W, and then we work our way up. Right, here we are. We come up top, which is this up top here. And we're at the beginning of a new fractal. And it completed itself again. Alright, so it would actually be, come back here. This here would be moved, because this was the top here, and then it comes down in, and then back up to that. So, and that's where it starts. That's where we're at currently. So right here, roughly. Yeah, right in here somewhere. Right there. Because this is where we're at now, and then it does it again, y'all. Right here it is again. It starts over, and it's the same thing, and this just keeps going, and it's the same thing. And now this is the micro playing this entire movement out. 7 months: June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 7 months worth of movement is being replicated over and over and over again. Now the question is this. Here's the question. Expect 35 to win, so it's not down. Yeah, that's you guys are making good points. I mean, this is all part of what I'm trying to figure out, you know what I mean? What I don't want to do is be, and you guys know this about me, I don't want to be super bullish and only talk about bullish scenarios, right? I want to look at what's in front of us realistically I want to take what's given to us and identify this algo, which we've done, or I've done, and now we're together looking at this stuff, and I'm showing it to you because I want more eyes to be on this entire thing, because I think the answer, right, the questions of, hey Chuck, when do you think we're going up? Hey Chuck, how high do you think we're going? Or hey Chuck, if it breaks down, how low could we go? I think the answers we've already been given. I know the answers have already been given to us. They're in this algo. They're already here. I'm boiling it down to I'm right there right now, and I can't, my brain. I'm glad I stepped away because I started seeing this and I started tracking it back. I tracked it the whole way back. So as you guys saw in the macro view where I spaced out the time frames, here's what has to be determined in my mind, and this is what I'm going to be thinking about and dwelling on today. This movement here, right here, is, and I've marked it, right? It's here, and then we have, and I guess this is actually here. So this is, yeah, because this is what happened. Okay, and this is what happened in November, right, on the macro, right? We made this movement here, which is right here. We came up here, right, which is all this right here. We came down, we broke down here, and what we should have done is here, and then we should have lifted off to the next box top, right? Which would have given us a box top, a pullback, and then moon, right? That's what we were all hoping for when we were in the quote-unquote the pennant, right, that everybody was talking about. So in my mind, what has to be identified is what changes it from not making the same movement as it did in December 2020 before it ran up, the January 2021 run up, or in June, June, where it made this movement. It made a little, like a slanted bottom here, just like it did here, and then it went ahead and mooned from there. What changes those two bullish movements after this repetitive movement over and over again to where now at each one of these, and I don't want to say each one of them have broken to the downside, but even we've had upside to them, but we haven't had a complete run out, right? And every time now since then, since May, June, every time we've completed one of these algorithm cycles, right? Even if we've had a bullish grind up or a bullish move up, it's followed by a bearish correction. And in an overall macro downtrend, which is what we're in this descending wedge, which is the exact same thing that happened from 2014 to January 2021 in the 7-year fractal. It's the exact same thing. When we have the confluence there supporting us, and I said this from an overall macro perspective, and let's look at this real quick. Do I still have the pictures up? Yeah. Here's the double bottom scenario, the comparison of, so this is January 2021, right? This is the giant macro descending wedge that we were in, right? From IPO in 2014, which is right here in this descending that I didn't capture in this screenshot, but nonetheless, there were 4 descending wedges. There were 3 box tops. Same thing, 4 descending wedges, and there were 3 box tops. Let me pull the other one up. I do have right there. There we go. Right here's the overall macro. Okay. This is the exact, and again I put this out a while back. I don't know, month and a half, when I started calling for, we're not in a pennant, we're in a descending wedge. We're in this giant megaphone structure, right? So this is IPO from 2014. This is January 2021 run up. We were, the same thing was happening, right? The same fractal algo that I showed you guys, both micro and macro, were playing out over and over and over again. Like I just went back and showed you, it was all doing the same in here. And the bullish movements were coming in the box, in the form of the box tops, right? The macro box tops that would fill themselves in between and be the alternative thing to the descending wedges, right? But they were all followed by downside correction, right? Breakout, box top, downside correction, breakout, box top, downside correction, right? And they did that in this order the whole way down until two things, till it reached the bottom support of the macro descending wedge, the micro descending wedge that it was in, and it was in a giant megaphone structure back then as well, and it created a confluence of support that blew this thing up. And this is why when I discovered this, I pointed this out. The same thing is happening right now. We're in this downhill, right, descending wedge decline over time here, the same as what was happening here. So if there's not the only thing, like I've said, the only thing that could pull us out of this would be the out of it doing something along these lines and grind up out of here would be the scenario 1 single bottom, which I've also put out. But nonetheless, the only other time that we've had a period of trading of AMC since its IPO that it's been in such a long decline, or what seems to be from a macro perspective, right? There's been some bullish movements in it, but when the overall is a descending wedge, it was this time, right? It's the only other comparable time that's similar to what we've been going through and what movement it's been experiencing since the May-June run-up. However, like I've said a million times before, just because it has happened doesn't mean it will. It's something that we're looking at. That's why we have a couple different scenarios that we look at. But what I guess I was hoping that by showing you guys some of this and these internal movements, where I wanted you guys to maybe think about it. And if you look at your own charts, I hope you're able to identify the same thing. Like I just backtracked you through what? 11, 10, 9. I just backtracked you through 3 months of micro movements, right? 3 months of micro movements. I just backtracked you through on the 10-minute chart, right? That does this entire 7-month movement over and over and over. Now, here's the thing. On every single one of those cycles of this movement on a micro frame like this, where we're sitting right now is the point right before it determines whether it's a long bullish move or a short bullish followed by bearish move. That's what I keep seeing, and I wrote it here. There's almost two shapes on the micro, right? See if I can find one of each. That's the same one. But anyways, one is facing this way, this shape here, and the other one's complete mirrored image of this, right, facing the other way. And I was trying to look at the differences between them and what each one indicated. But my point is this: I need to figure out. And this is the only thing I haven't done as far as connecting the dots. You were recommended on Froggy Style. Oh, thanks to all the new people in here. Appreciate y'all, man. I'll get to the comments here in a second and bullshit with you guys. I just want to get through this so especially my Discord members and all of you that are here can see what it is that I'm looking at and what I'm trying to determine. Because like I said, I kind of got to a certain point mentally where I haven't got over the hump. And again, I've only been looking at this for about 3 days, 2 days maybe. But what happens is, right, this is and this is what I'm going to go through again. This will be something that we can go through either individually or and then or I'll do it on the live stream. I don't care. It's just hard when everybody wants to talk and stuff. But this here's what happens, right? We get the movement. We get our M on the way out, just like we did here. We get our push up. We get our new box top, right? Our new box top. We come down, consolidate. We come down, consolidate. This here is we come down. It's like a step, right? And it brings us the whole way back down, right? Now here's almost the same movement, but mirrored. And then we get a run up. Now what happens is this, in the whole theory of this algo fractal playing out cycled, remember I put the lines here? Right here it is. It's hard to see on the smaller time frame, but this is where it stops and starts. So this entire movement here, right here, starts over right here, right? Comes down in here. This is this. And then there, and I showed you guys that. We went back through all this. So the question is this. See how short the movement is after this fractal and this fractal shape and that movement, right? Because that's the same thing, descending wedge, it's in here, right? Here it is. Why is the post this movement prior to starting over here without a run up? What happens prior to that that could indicate that that is what's going to happen? Right? Because here there's no run up. It literally just dissolves itself and starts over. Right? And it starts over back here. And this whole thing plays out again on a micro. See what I'm saying? So the micro is going to indicate and tell us where the macro is going, right? That's its job. That's what it does, right? It takes these multiple micros to make up the macros, okay? To make up one macro. So the micro will indicate where we're going. The micro is where you find, or where I find, my indications for price projection. Now I use the macro setups for visual intensive purposes, and that's what I've shown on my channel and on my Twitter, and like showing the alternating descending wedges like this inside of the macro descending wedge with the box tops alternating in between. Then this fourth one we get the breakout because the confluence support and how it's similar to 2021 January run up, and then so I do that to give a visual representation to the viewer from a macro standpoint, but to really look into those movements and where the indicators are, because just because this descending wedge is inside of a matching megaphone structure and has 4 alternating descending wedges inside of it with 3 alternating box tops in between each one, and it looks really, really close to being a compressed version of the 7-year fractal that I presented a couple months ago, doesn't mean that when it hits here, it's going to blow up and we're going to do a 10x like we did in January. Is that a potential possibility? Yes, it is. But does it mean it's going to do that? And no, it doesn't. That's not something I'm willing to just hang my hat on and be like, yep, that's it. That's where we're going. Yep, it's going to do the same exact thing it did in December 2020, and we're going to go 10x January 26th or January 27th. It's if that happens, great. But I'm not going to be the person that stands here and hangs his hat on that when I know there's more to it than that, and I know we have these micro repetitive cycles of this entire thing playing out, and the area in which we're in right now, this last descending wedge, this exact fractal shape or movement shape that we're witnessing is what happens right prior to either one of two things: either the cycle and the fractal completely starting over, it dissolves itself right into it, or we blow up and we actually get a run up even on a micro, just like here, right here. Instead of, there's two different reactions to that. We dissolve and we start over, right? Or we bleed down and we blow up. Okay, so that on a micro is indicative of what could happen on macro. Okay, that same exact movement can happen on macro. We could see this completely bleed out and make a lower box top, versus blowing up like we want it to, right? From a bullish standpoint. So these micros are what I'm trying to dive into and see, now that I can see this all just over playing itself out internally like this. I do believe that the answer lies within here to legitimately give us, I guess, or me, more conviction towards one scenario versus the other, towards the single bottom versus the replay of the January 2021 run up. But it's in here. And so for those of you that are in Discord, that are in here right now, that's what I'm looking at. We can message about it in there after the fact here if you guys are looking at this or looking at your charts. That's what I'm trying to determine. What in this short movement, because check this out. So let me see, where am I at? October. Yeah, let's go to the next one in November. So here, look at this first. You see this short movement, right? Here's this movement. Here's this right here. Okay? This is this, right? We move up. We check down right here. We check down. And then we start a grind up, right? But then we make another box top, and then we right back down, okay? But then this is where it all starts over. We come right back down, we make our W, and we dissolve out right into this next beginning over here, right? Without a run up. All right, so then let's go over here. Here's the next one. Right here, right here. See how different this one is? This one just goes on a grind, right? Goes on a grind. We get a mid box top, right? Before we start breaking down and correcting. This is where the blue line is where the next one starts. That's here. But it's after a correction, right? We went, right here's where we started, and look where we ended. We ground up, we went bullish, grind up, we fell back, we tried to get back up, we fell back, and then we start over again back here. So what's determining that? What within that fractal, within that algorithm cycle, that period of the cycle on the micro, what's indicating or dictating what happens after this movement? Because there's two different versions of what happens after this movement. There's two different versions, right? That happens after this movement. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And I believe if I can figure out what indicates that on micro's already showing us right now what we're going to be doing, like in real time, right? Micro shows us in real time our movement. Right? It's right here. I mean, this is literally already out in front of this. So micro's showing us in real time what is happening. I just got to figure out what's indicating and dictating the alternate moves after this movement within this fractal, to then know on a micro, to then translate that as to reading this macro overall macro chart and saying, oh, it's doing this, or oh, it did this before it did this, so that means it's going to do this, right? The answer's in the micro movements. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. So I hope that made sense as to what it is that I'm looking for specifically to identify as indicators, because it does lie within the micro portion of the chart. It's just a matter of nailing it down and finding it. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my charting today. Is I'm going to be breaking down. I'm going to just go full screen with the micro. I'll go split screen. I got a couple big screens here. I can't do it on live. But I'll go ahead and I'll put them side by side, and I'll take some notes and start separating characteristics and listing the bullet pointing characteristics of each complete cycle of the fractal, the algorithm, and then what the outcome of that was after this movement. That way I can maybe narrow it down to some repetitive nature, and then that'll get me closer anyway. So that's what I'm looking at there from a micro to macro projection standpoint. Outside of that, if those of you that are new in here, I saw a few out of the corner of my eye, people that were saying they're new to my channel and everything. If you go check out, I just put a video out right before the live stream here. I'm not as detailed about it as I am in the original video that I put out about this. However, AMC, the only other scenario I see in my mind, minus a double bottom where we just keep grinding up out, would be something similar to this. And this would be the, Dollar Tree 2007, 8, and 9. This is AMC currently. Dollar Tree reacted previously. Where are the other good ones that I had? Its negative beta reacted to the market crash of 08-09. Yeah. Let me get rid of this and this. I want this and this. This here is SPY. And thank you, Sharon. Yeah, I will. It's just, like I said, it's longhand work now. So like all the shorthand work's done, identifying what's happening. Now I'm going to have to go through each and every algo cycle, the fractal of each one. And like I said, bullet point the characteristics, write them out so that I know. And then I can look at them and compare each one of them to themselves. And it'll identify itself. It'll end up showing me similarities and or differences that are repetitive in nature as well. And then that's what indicates. And after I identify that, but I've narrowed it down that far to know that that's where the answer is. Sharon, you've been here pretty much since the beginning with me. You know that. Like, I've been drilling this, and that's where the answer is. I think I'm like this close to having the unadulterated answer, regardless of, it doesn't matter what market does, what I think I'm going to have the answer regardless. Whether it coincides with market or not, we'll see what the answer is, but I believe that's where it lies. So it's just a matter of doing that now and listing that for each one of those complete cycles, and then it's going to show itself. So, but thank you for your faith and confidence. So anyways, guys, this was what I presented in the video. Again, I would appreciate it if you go back. It would help you and me as well. But if you go back and check out, about, I don't know, a month and a half when I finally publicly released this theory. I know it was a little wild, and it still is, because the question is, well, how the hell does that relate to AMC? There's a lot that goes into it. Market conditions, the SPY currently versus the SPY now. Market conditions then versus market conditions now. The mortgage-backed security versus the naked shorting and how you know, the overall economy is in a bubble, you know, right now completely, and we're hyperinflated now versus inflation. But and then you go into the little minute details of Dollar Tree having a long-term negative beta. It was one of, I believe, five. It was one of the five top negative beta, or the most negative beta of any stock in that time period. And what, you know, and here was the SPY, and what was funny was before the SPY even corrected and then crashed, Dollar Tree had already pretty much did it. I don't want to say crashed, but it corrected. It had like a 40% correction. And it was way before, you know, SPY was grinding to all-time highs, and Dollar Tree was falling out. The bottom was falling out from underneath it. And then it created this, right, at the beginning of 2008. And at the beginning of 2008, the SPY made a double bottom here, right, here and here. This double bottom here is how that reacted. And then right here is where the major diversion took place, right? This, after the double bottom, this shot up, right? Here would have been the reaction to that double bottom, and the shoot up was this one candle. And then when SPY corrected here, this candle wicked, but then this started grinding up as this continued to dump out. And that's where the diversion was, the complete separation and diversion. And then it ground its way up, or grinded its way out of here, as SPY was down here, falling out, and the bottom falling out from underneath the SPY and the broader market simultaneously. So it's long-term negative beta, you know, even though it looks like it, and it diverted prior to, but where it really took effect and where it was right here, right? Which is really ironic, because if you look at AMC and the SPY right now, this is AMC and the SPY. Here's the SPY right now, up top, messing around, up by all-time highs. AMC went early in the same exact manner, dumped out, I don't know what, total 60%, I think, down to the low, or something like that. But ironically, in the same, almost identical fractal and interior movements, and where it really diverted, what, like I showed on the other one, was when the Dollar Tree was right in here. It wicked a real nice big boom boom green candle up out of here, and then it wicked itself down, and that's when the SPY made its correction, and then it's dump, right, to its crash, and that's when SPY ground up out of here. The AMC is currently sitting in the exact same place in the exact same place Dollar Tree was sitting when that happened to Dollar Tree. SPY now is sitting in the exact same place that SPY was sitting when it happened to Dollar Tree. And here's the current one, and I'll put them next door to each other here so you can see. On your left is Dollar Tree and the SPY. And on your right is AMC and SPY. It's crazy. And then here, I'll give you a little side by side. This is the Dollar Tree right here up top, and this is AMC on the bottom currently, where AMC is sitting currently. It's pretty close to looking alike. So the only thing we're really missing right now, we're sitting like right here for this candle. Literally almost in the exact same place. Long neck inverted slanted head and shoulders, long neck, inverted, slanted head and shoulders. We're literally sitting on this candle right here. So, and we diverted from SPY at the end of last week. So it's definitely definitely there and definitely similar. I mean, there's no denying how similar this is. But let me look here. I'm gonna go through some comments, but you see why I put out two scenarios there, but and why I've been talking about two scenarios. This is why, and this was something I dug out myself and kind of found myself, and I think it's very, very relevant, especially with the condition of the market and where we're at, and where these are sitting currently in relation to everything combined. It's a little more tinfoil hat than just the December or January 2021 run up repeating itself, and you know, the 7-year macro algo compressed now into 7 months. This year's a little more tinfoil hat than that. I think it took a little more digging on my part, a little more initiative on my part to go look for something different. But I think I found it, and I think it's too close to deny possibility to at least accept it as a possibility. So, which is what I've done, and it's what I've presented to my followers on Twitter, on YouTube, in the Discord. Everybody's aware of this because I'm keeping an eye on this. It continues to keep playing out like it's going to. So I'm keeping that in the back of my head as well. But in the immediate future here, with the rest of my day to look and dig, I am going to be spending it trying to, like I said, characteristically identify differences and similarities between the micro cycle of these playing out over and over and over again, of this entire movement here playing out, because I want to do this today too, and I normally don't rush my DD when I'm looking into these things in my charting. However, I'm going to put a little bit of a rush on this one for myself because we're currently macro sitting right exactly where the determination of what happens next, meaning a run up or another, maybe a short-term run up, and then another box top and another drop. And I want to determine that now before it's too late. And on a macro time frame, we're sitting right there on it right now. So that's why I wanted to show it to you guys and kind of chart it out a little bit here and bullshit about it a little bit. Well, that's that. I'm going to go through some of these comments now. Would that give us run up in January? Yeah, possibly, William. That's what I was in the video I released right before I went live, was an update on that double bottom scenario. That's basically the complete algo fractal playing out prior to the January 2021 run up. It would be it's the exact same thing that we're in right now. So that's scenario 2. Scenario 1 is the single bottom I just showed you. Scenario 2 is a repeat of that previous. Here, let me show you. Was it this chart that I have it mapped out on? No. 4 hour. Yeah, I'll go. Right here. Well, I can just show you pictures. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm an idiot. Right here, William. This is the December December 2020 and January 2021 run up. And this was the 7 years worth of trading prior to that. This is the last 7 months of trading we've been in. We're both in megaphone structures, both in descending wedges, both have the same alternating fractals and fractal pattern playing out with the descending wedges, 4 descending wedges and 3 box top movements playing out. So yeah, this is definitely, if this plays out and we get the rest of this double bottom here and it lands on this confluence of support like it did here, yeah, that's been my foundational extreme gains family people in here will tell you this is something I've been tracking and calling out for a while now. So I do believe that this would be, if this continues to play out like this down here, and we get this double bottom movement over here, I do believe this is something that we may see. Very similar to it anyways. That gave us wrong. Okay, I read that. My opinion, since the cycle looks the same, I would say it's, yeah, that's what I said. It just because it doesn't mean it will. It just it's on the table as a possibility from a realistic, vantage point. You want to keep it as realistic as possible there. So, but it's possible, yeah, for sure. But hey, Chris, Chuck, are you overall bullish? No time frames. Just, do you think the Algo has a bullish run in it? Yes. Yeah. Now that's not to say it's like a long term. When I say yes to that, that's not me indicating that I think we're gonna get a 10x or a 7x or anything like we've seen. That just means, do I think it could be a short term bullish run. Either way, there's gonna be at some point either here, or if we come down and make a double bottom, we will get a bullish move after that. We're either going to get it here in this week and break out of this, or we're going to get it once we come back down and finish the double bottom here. What that is, that's what I'm trying to determine, but I do believe it has something in it still. I would be really, let me show you this, Chris. This is let me give you this overall perspective. This is the overall look here. I'm going to show you this one, and I'm going to show you another one. This is just encompassing the run up in January, the consolidation, and then the run up in June, May and June, and then what we've been in since then. It's all in this macro megaphone, right? We've got support here, we've got support here, we've got support here, and then we got it here, right? I would be really, 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 really surprised if this support broke. And I'm going to show you why. Well, not only for that reason why, but I'm going to give you another vantage point from that. This is also the macro overview of everything, of all of AMC's movements since the beginning of time for AMC as a publicly traded company. This is where it IPO'd. It went up to like almost $36, I think. And then they absolutely beat it down over 7 years to $1.91 a share, right? It was also in a macro megaphone, right? It's here, right? Like this. I don't have this in here. I didn't want to convolute your view of the yellow structure that I have in there. But you see here, and let me show you this. Right, so here's let me make that bigger. There's the mega macro megaphone, right? The descending wedge that was in it, it bled down, and when it finally, it did fake down, break down here, just below it, briefly, and I'll show you this. This is the version of Weevil that I hate on charting because it's slow. Right here, This right, just like this. And then granted, this could probably come out even further, and then this would be swung out a little more, but nonetheless, it did break down through there a tiny bit, and then this was its confluence. I don't have enough room to put it out there. I don't want to lose it either. Weeble charting on this version sucks, but anyways, the confluence was here, and it did what I've been again tracking for a while, potentially doing what it's about to do, right? But it didn't break this megaphone support, right? It also had two others, right? So I want to make that clear too. It had a confluence of support right here, and it didn't break on either attempt at flushing it down past that $1.91 mark. The confluence caught it and kept it up, and then that's when we got our first leg of the run up here. But I want you to see too, yeah, see, where did that come from? I want you to look at the overall, like overall, right? There it is. Okay, so that was all inside of this macro megaphone, right? And then when we hit the confluence is when we blew up. Now, in my theory, what I've talked about is I don't believe this was two different. I believe this was all one run up. Okay? I believe that this was just leg one with a long drawn out consolidation and leg two, right? This was them, whether it was a result of them shorting or naked shorting or whatever it was that made this stop and consolidate. That was how they broke it. Well, it was removing the fucking buy button is what it was, if I'm being completely honest. That's how they stopped this from just continuing. Had they not done that, I do believe, all this movement here would be, I guess if you think about a rope that's just laid down and all the time, if you pull all that out and stretch it all out in one long run, that's what they prevented from happening by doing so. But I do believe all of this movement, as well as most of this movement, definitely all of this, most of this will eventually be stretched out, and we'll see the results of that if we're around long enough to see that. Definitely this is still owed, I guess, as far as being part of this first run up. That's what was taken away. So that 6 months worth of trading and consolidation, if you will, I believe is owed to this chart in some way, shape, or form. So because it was stopped artificially, and that was the result of it, and then that's why the secondary leg, the second leg up, also happened, because they couldn't continue to contain this. But I do believe this is all one from this moment, right? Now, the movement we've experienced these last 7 months now, I believe is a result of a few things, and a combination of a few things. So with that said, I just wanted you to see that. I wanted you to see here also, once that blew out here, these next two moves went in, right, to an inclined inverted megaphone, right, inside of this one. Typically megaphones, they do two things, right? That they house their movements, right? And they house them in the fashion of like a ping pong, right? They hit resistance, they hit support, they hit resistance, they hit support in whatever location, or I guess gradient that the megaphone is in. That's the typical movement within a megaphone. Megaphone structures are for typically highly volatile stocks. See megaphone structures, and that's what this is, right? So that's what we got here too, right? We got a rejection off the top. We got a bleed down to the very bottom, and as soon as it hit it, boom, and we went back up almost, right? 72, 77. Let me put a little line in there. Right, we ran up to here to $77. Pull this down. And pull this down. And that's what we got. We got the ping pong off the top, off the resistance, off the support, off the bottom, and then boom, off the top, and then we come back down. Now, the bottom is, you know, where if the bottom continues, it goes to pennies, you know. So what I was saying was, we're sitting right in here on this one, and it has again made a confluence of support right here, right? We have all three of these, two descending wedges and the megaphone, right? That's housing, again, if you look at this one, off the top, off the bottom, off the top, off the bottom. What's the next move? Boom, right? So in a perfect scenario, right? And I say that in a perfect scenario, in a algorithmic perfect harmony, in a perfect technical setup of a megaphone, right? Ping pong off the top, off the bottom, resistance, support, resistance. Now we come down, and this new one that's in here, this inverted one, right? It's built up enough support here to keep it, so far it already touched it once, to keep it from falling through there, because if it falls through there, you know, granted we have a little gap to fill down here that could act as support if it were to fill that, which would, you know, pull this away from its support that it had made here. So, but is that possible from a technical standpoint? Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's really likely right now to happen that way, but it is possible. However, you know, here we're sitting, and here's the confluence again, and it's the first time that a confluence has happened since here. And it's within the same thing. So again, within a perfect world, within a perfect scenario, within a perfect setup, this is what I foresee happening if that all continues to set itself up exactly as this did. However, in the meantime, like I've already showed, there are other scenarios that look very similar to what we have going on right now with AMC. At Chris, yes, either a parabolic move or a churn up. Either way, up. Yeah. To some extent, at some point. Yep. I'm confused. It sounds like he feels the algo has changed suddenly and is not very sure of the near term. Well, I'm never real. The near term's irrelevant when you're out here looking at macro weeklies and the entire trading habits of a stock from its 2013 IPO. The immediate micro movements aren't really relevant, you know, when you're talking about that. The algo did change. They did alter it briefly to keep it suppressed, or the next move back in November was to blow out of, at the time, the pennant that it was in. But they had to. So, and that's what led us to where we're at now. But as far as, what did you say here? Is not sure of the near term. The near term, I've been projecting near term spot on for, I don't know, all last week. I did it in real time in the live stream to show everybody how these, where's it at? How these right here, these fractal stencils, how exact they are and how they lead you to future price movement and future price targets and how you can determine that. It's how I do it, and I showed that in the live streams all week. So Yeah, it's not that I'm unsure. Right now I'm trying to, what I'm talking about in here today is trying to figure out what the macro response is going to be as where we sit now as a result of what these micro movements are showing us. And I explained all that as well. So, Ben, it's very bullish either way. Yeah, did you look at December fractal and compare it? We are going up no matter the scenario. One option is a more measured move, the other is option it will fly up. It seems to me the whole algo is downtrend biased except for the occasional correction. And if this thing corrects back to 30, 35, 40, fractal perhaps this time down to 15, what do we really gain? What kind of price targets do you think we're talking in an uptrend versus parabolic? I don't know, William. It's nothing I want to put out publicly and say. Chris, you may want to go back and watch Chuck's videos to be current. Yeah. Good recommendation, Shane. You're so close. It's literally one direction. Yeah, it's a little more than that. Like, they both go up, Pete. Like, when I know what you're talking about, Pete. You're talking about what I was actually making this live to actually talk to you guys about and show you. But yeah, it's like we either get this short term move up on this micro and then it corrects back down, or we get a nice long grind up. So either way, the short term should be a move up on the micro. And again, I'm more concerned with finding what it is that's dictating or indicating those moves, because this micro movement is actually the indication to tell us, because it's always in front of this, right? So this actually tells us what this is going to do. So if we can figure out what's indicating, or if I can figure out what's indicating the move that comes after this, right, which is exactly where we're sitting on a macro, it will then tell me what's going to happen next year, for sure. And then I'll have no doubt. Granted, I've not only discovered but presented the scenarios, right, in which we're kind of all looking at, but I want to go one step further. You know me, dude. I'm not gonna, I'm not happy with that. I want to know what's next. You know what I mean? More than just comparative scenario talking. You know, and I can do that. I've done it. You've watched me, Pete. I've done it in the micro in real time. So I want to do that with this, and then I want to be the guy that puts the video out a couple weeks ahead of, or at least I don't know if we were even that far away now, but that calls this out to a T. And then moving forward, that's going to add to the whole algo identification process for AMC, and being able to overlay these with even more confidence, knowing what future price action is going to do, both micro and macro. So then I can play both, you know. But yeah, I do feel like I'm close, brother. Chris, the algo downtrend is more like a spring that will launch us higher. I've been in AMC since 5. This movement is normal. Future swaps could play a role in changing the cycle. Yeah, something definitely did in November. Something switched things up in November. We were on pace to blow out in November, according to the cycle. But then again, when looking at the previous 7-year fractal that I believe has been compressed into this 7-month, this was always meant to happen in that scenario. So, yeah. Future slots during this time has played a role in previous run-ups. Yeah, I don't agree with that. That all sounds good on the surface, but they run all this, man. This is all precisely controlled by the algos, and their hand in the pot, being able to control volume, volume in, volume out the way they do. They can offload, they can store it. They have the ability to store orders and make it look as if they're not. However, and then insert volume or extract volume as they need to. And I believe the Algo does that. I believe the working Algo has the ability to do that. It's almost like a paywall, a gated wall up around it that distributes it as necessary to validate itself and to continue to print out the exact precise algorithmic fractal shapes and patterns that it's done since its inception as an IPO. Yeah. Six Sun, I'm new to your channel, my friend. I think you might be onto something here with the Algo AMC. Thank you, Six. Appreciate you being here, man. Or girl, I don't know. But either way, yeah, I hope you come back. Hope you subscribe to the channel and stuff. Alina, new to your channel, you were recommended on Froggy Styles. I don't even know what Froggy Styles is, but that's cool. Welcome, Alina. I hope you sub and come check us out. I live stream every day from market open to market close. We have quite a few people, and we had, I don't know, almost 1,000 on Friday, I think. Come in. And yeah, it's good. It's good times. We dig in. We got a good community in the live streams. We have a good community in the Discord. And yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming and checking me out. I hope you go watch some of the videos that I've put out on all this stuff. Alina and Six. It should help. It should help you see what it is that I do and what this channel's about and what I'm trying to do moving forward. Yeah, Dustin, I'm aware. I hope that's the case, man. Yep. Is there a way to measure this cycle again in a smaller time frame to see if it does continue the 4 micro descending wedges? Is there a way to measure this cycle again in a smaller time frame to see if it does continue the 4 micro? I mean, that's essentially what I here. Let me show you this. This is basically what I did today, bro. So when I went on the micro, when I did a comparative this morning, where on the 10-minute it was playing out the exact same, the full cycle of the Algo, right? Is start and then finish over here to the next move, right? However, there's all these mini ones that play out over and over and over and over, which you already know this. So what I did was on here on the 5-minute, I went back and I put it just like this, and you can see it here, right? Right here is right here, and then I pulled it back. Right here is right here, right here is right here, you know, and then I just walked it back, and it literally here is here. And we come down, make the W down here, make this is right here, and this goes, you know, and you walk it the whole way back, and then I put the lines in, I put my verticals in where the start and finish of each one of these micro full completion of the Algo cycle start to finish was, and then when I zoomed out here to the macro, this is what it left me with. I put these in later, but just a little bit right there. This is what it left me with. These are the measured out time frames in which the micro fractals, micro Algo cycle plays out within this macro descending wedge. And you can see just by the gapping on them or the spacing on them, they're alternating, right? one shorter than the other. And the one thing I said I think I've identified is it's the same algo, but they have two separate outcomes for this algo, and they alternate them. One is it plays out short after the shape that we're in right now, or the fractal piece that we're in right now currently on macro. There's either one of two things that happen after that that dictate the next movement into the new fractal, right? So from a first glance, what it looks like to me is like one is upside, one is downside, one is upside, one is downside on the small ones, and then the same with the big ones. So if this is upside, then this is downside, and then upside, and then downside, and then upside. So bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish type thing is what I think at first glance. Now, with that said, there's a long bullish and a short bullish, but both of them are followed by bearish corrections, right? Because we haven't seen a run up in any of these. We have seen bullish movement, right? Bullish movement, right? And I believe we're going to see bullish movement if this continues to follow the same trend. But determining, for instance, long bullish movement followed by correction versus short bullish movement followed by major correction, right? Those are the two outcomes that we're seeing on a macro that I've also identified on micro that I'm trying to and will this afternoon lay out and identify all of the alike qualities or characteristics of and repetitive nature of those characteristics, and try to nail down what it is and how I can use that to determine what is next within the macro from the micro. But yeah, that's kind of what I did this morning with that. Yeah, I'll leave that up. All right. Oh, shit. Good question though, Dustin. For real. Yeah, tapped in. That's not gonna matter either way, man. Like I said, they house volume. They store volume. The algorithm stores volume, and it disperses it, or it either inserts it or it retracts it, or inserts. When I say retract, I just mean in selling pressure. But it has its own ability to use all of the volume, right? That's on, I guess for lack of a better term, it's on the books, right, on paper versus through the system, and it uses that as it needs to complete its job, which is to trade itself back and forth in a way that it repeats itself, which is why we're able to identify these commonalities and repetitive things within it literally since the time it opened as an IPO. So, I mean, I think in the long term, again, I think where we win, or where retail, I shouldn't say we, where retail wins in this whole scenario is the fundamental thesis behind what has happened. And that is, if retail continues to buy, hold, and buy, right, that is a relentless pursuit of accumulating every share, whether synthetic or not. It is also a relentless chokehold by putting pressure in the form of buying volume onto this stock without fail, without break. Therefore, they have no choice but to do things like bleed out volume from time to time in the form of these run-ups. They can only consolidate it and contain it throughout its algorithmic cycle, and then they have to bleed some out one way or the other. And if buying pressure outweighs selling pressure at the end of that algorithmic cycle playing out, then the indefinite move at that point is to the upside, because they have to bleed out some of that volume to offset the time in which it has just spent containing it and constricting it and capping it from moving in that direction. Oh, hey, Fred, did you have a chip? No, I didn't, Fred. I didn't, buddy. Chuck, have you been buying and holding AMC as well? Yeah, I've had AMC since the end of January. BBIG, what about it? You want to Barry? Barry, I don't know if I've seen you in here before. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, we can look at BBIG. Let me know if you're still in here. When I get to the end of the comments, if I see you still here, we'll check it out. Will Weeble be okay to use during MOAS? That's such a double-edged, like, they all suck. If they're using payment for order flow, they suck. But the reality of the situation is, unless we had all of retail buying on lit, I don't know that we would see a difference. I mean, maybe I think the masses need to all be buying lit, and it needs to be going direct to tape for it to make a difference like that. So I will not be buying on Weeble. I can't tell you what to do, Aubrey, but what I can tell you is what I'm going to be doing. I will not be buying on Weeble during MOAS, or the shares that I have on Weeble, I've left on Weeble. I will sell them when I see fit, and hope that they don't attempt to do anything like was done in January. That's what I can tell you. Pete, exactly, from the Dollar Tree, only up from here. BBIG, Eve, welcome, Eve. yeah, BBIG, 6 Aubrey Montoya, no one knows for sure, but you might want to have different brokers just in case. I use Fidelity Active Pro. That's very, 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 very good advice, 6 Son. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, the realistic perspective of that is, if what I believe is happening with algorithms running everything, like I said, unless the masses are buying direct to tape, there's no cause or effect for anything, because they get those orders, and the algorithm itself stores those buys and sells until it sees fit to use them. So, but I agree with 6, 100%. You really just don't know, right? Nobody knows for sure. Everything I talk about when it comes to this stuff, or anybody else does, without any kind of legitimate documentation or positioning within a place professionally to talk about this stuff and show that, it's just speculation, right? It's all speculation. So, but I believe that exact same thing. Yep. Okay. You are now on the micro. Yes, guys, I've watched it live. It's crazy. Pete, what did you watch live? Pete, where'd you go? 6 asked what you watched live. He watched me call out price movement in real time prior to it happening, based off of the fractal shapes that I've stenciled onto micro movements. Him and the rest of all the people that were in the live streams the last week, I showed how I can overlay those and how it essentially follows it and lands itself within it without fail. and that's, again, it's the Algo fractal shapes that I've identified over the last year, and I've used for over an entire year, not only on this but on others. Okay, there's Barry. I'm still in. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at BBIG for you. If it holds volume, how are we gonna squeeze? From the algorithm, again, letting off. This is what it does. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but that's what's going to happen. Like I said, the fundamental thesis behind it is buy, hold, buy for a reason, and that's to keep that without fail buying pressure on. We are not in retail. When I say we, I'm just referring to retail because I'm retail as well. But retail is not in control of this thing in any way, shape, or form. The only way retail takes any kind of control over this is if the masses were to buy direct to tape and the orders were to go from a push of a button to the tape. Unless that's happening, there is no control being had over this. A perfect example of this is just the simplicity of being able to look at a chart and determine that it has a macro repetitive nature almost identical to its historical self that continues to play out. That is not a natural thing that occurs from the foundational thesis behind supply and demand, right? If that were the case, we would see, especially in a stock like this, we would see major volatility all the time. We don't see that. We only see it when these things happen, right? And here, let me show you another chart that I like to use this chart all the time because this is the epitome of what suppression, price suppression, what algorithm, what high frequency trading computer, what they do. This is GameStop's chart. This is the cleanest, most identifiable chart that dictates and implicates not only algorithmic traders, high frequency trading, price suppression, and manipulation. It is the cleanest, neatest, most precisely controlled chart that I've ever seen in my life. And that's what all these are. That's what they've done. They've had no choice but to do this. This is what they do. This started as this start, and then it went to this, and then it went to this, and then it went to this, and now it went to this, right? Their only hope is to do what it is that they've been doing, and that is to keep extending this as long as they possibly can, and trying to unwind what little bit they can over a long period of time as they keep extending this. And then in the meantime, hope that either interest dies off, people sell, they can manipulate it into these drops that may be able to rake liquidity themselves and or positionings positions take over sold or scared positions. These are all tactics that they use in combination with trying to draw things out as long as they possibly can to try in an attempt to unwind their position little bit by little bit. All right, BBIG. Let's look for you guys. Here is BBIG on the daily. Hey, Ronnie, what's up, brother? What's up, my man? Hope you had thank you, brother. I hope you had a good Christmas too, man. There's very Active Trader Pro. Is it in phone app or Fidelity? I believe. Okay, I thought they just came out with a new app for the phone. I thought they were on mobile now. I could be mistaken. I'm almost 100% sure though Fidelity now has a mobile app to use. Could be wrong though, J Pros. You correct. Feel free to correct me. Download Fidelity mobile. Okay, right there. App and turn on beta on it. Yep, 10.4. That's what I thought. Here's BBIG. BBIG as well, I've identified, has an algorithm playing out on it. It has the same repetitive thing over and over and over. It's descending wedge, breakout to the upside, box top, or it touches 3 times. 3 top touch point, what I've called them. This is on the weekly. However, on the daily, again, I put this out. If you guys that were asking for BBIG, if you want to go check out the video on. Okay, Sharon. Okay, thank you. Hey, send me I have your information in Discord. Never mind. For moderator. Never mind. Okay, I'll talk to you in Discord. This here's the entire year of trading. What I was saying is I already put a video out on this, so if you guys that were asking for this want to go check this out, check the video out that I put out on it. I break it down. I break the whole thing down. But this is the algorithm, and this is the entire year 2021 of trading, and you can see different levels of support and resistance that it's respected throughout the year. Significantly, this bottom support for the entire year, and 305 has been both support and resistance. It's been ping-ponging up and down just over 305 and just under 305. So I have my own scenario on what I'm waiting for. I'm on a hold pattern with BBIG right now. I am looking to take a position in BBIG very soon, depending on what it does. So we'll see. But yeah, check out the video that I broke down. It literally nothing's really changed since that video that I made about identifying the BBIG algo. We're still in the same. The only thing that's changed is it had a fake out breakout here, and it got rejected back down. Clear down back under the 305, but the bottom support is still holding right now. If that doesn't hold, I believe we see 210. If that does hold, market makers have more incentive to rip this thing out of here now versus letting it come down here and letting people, technical traders like myself, or people that I'm an algo technical trader, but people that just run off technicals and level to level. They're not going to let them. I don't think they want to let everybody load up down here like everybody did here when they saw this bottom coming, because this is the result of that. So I think incentive-wise, this thing has more incentive to blow out of here early than it does to come down here. However, I would like to see it come down here. So I'm waiting. I haven't taken a. I did have I have 2 or 3 different baskets of BBIG calls that I rode up to here to the rejection. That I sold for profit, and as far as that goes, I'm not looking to re-enter until it gives me confirmation and continuation in one direction or another. Sandio, I looked at that on Thursday as well. Was this the chart I looked at it on? No. Was this the chart I looked at? Yeah. Again, this was just a quick look on Thursday or Wednesday. Somebody asked me to look at it. And just briefly, that's what I looked at and kind of pointed out. It really does remind me of an IPO quiet time chart. And I explained that in the live stream as well. It was towards the end of the day, probably around 2 o'clock, if you wanted to go check that out. And what that is, and I broke down if you don't know what that is, I broke down an IPO quiet time chart. But This is basically what I saw when I first looked at it, so I just mapped that out. I'll just leave it there. It does look like, and you can see here where I think it does look like it's already breaking out of here, where I had this. So we'll see. We'll see how high she goes, but yeah, it definitely looks like it's ready for a run. To me, we'll see. We shall see. And it doesn't hurt that it's tied in with everything else being, shorted to shit and probably naked shorts and everything else. So if that's the case, but yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Wesley. Yeah. You guys can confirm or deny that. Wesley said he thinks that SNDL has to get above $1 by January 1st or it gets delisted. Could be wrong. Well, then that may be on the table here. That may be what's about to happen. A push above $1. I mean, it's at 67 cents right now. That's a nice run. That's a nice run to get in on. However, if it doesn't, and that's the case, then that would suck. I might be waiting another year, Kevin. I would only agree with you if hedgies don't find a way to turn all the Jan 21 calls into FTDs and they pack them away. So I would only agree with you if hedgies don't find a way. Yeah. They'll find a way. They can't. I think the only way they don't find a way is if some sort of regulation or regulator pins them, When this runs into the hundreds and stays up there for a good period of time, it's over for them, Chuck. Yeah, I think so, bro. I think there's going to come a point in time that if it gets to a certain price, yeah, they're gonna, the containment of it is going to be lost. I do believe that. That same with GameStop. To be honest with you, I'm surprised GameStop. I mean, granted, you saw what they did in January. That was the only way they could do it. So if that gives you any indication as to where the prices, especially for GameStop, is or was that they were afraid of losing control of. AMC, yeah. Again, it's all speculation, but I would agree with that, Ronnie, to a certain extent. Yeah, I would think that it's gonna. There's gotta be a real max pain. You know what I'm saying? Like there's gotta be a real place that where that if this thing goes to, they're absolutely screwed. And I mean, like, more than we can even fathom. I think that's where, the idea of MOAS comes in. That if it can get to above a certain place, it turns into something that nobody's ever seen before. And again, we don't know. We can only speculate on the volume. You know what I mean? And how much has been stored, how much it takes place on a daily basis from retail versus institution. We have some metrics that allow us to kind of look into that daily, and but they're skewed. I mean, they're skewed. There's no way to say it but that. So yeah. PCO. Do you think they will go to PCO? Oh, I'd be surprised. I would be surprised. I'd be real surprised if they did. What time is it? 11:30? What time did I come on? 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 2 hours already? Wow. Well, anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead. You guys got any more questions or anything? I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. I'm going to do so. I got football coming up I want to watch, and I want to get into the rest of this charting here on this micro comparison stuff that I was going to do. For those of you that are in here in Discord, if you're going to look at this as well today, just let me know. Let me know in there. Shoot me a message. Let me know you're going to be checking it out, and then maybe we can bounce some things off each other in there while we're doing it here. But that's kind of going to be what I look for today. I'm gonna literally itemize them and try to look at them and list and bullet point similarities and differences, so that I can find the repetitive nature within the full micro fractal and the full micro, the micro algo cycle that is continuing. That way it will allow me to project out here. But I need to figure all that out first on these micro loops that are taking place. So that's what I'm going to be doing while I watch. So yeah, if y'all are going to get into that, let me know so we can BS and bounce ideas off of each other. But other than that, guys, I am going to I'm going to go ahead and end this. I don't want to keep anybody too long today because it's still the weekend. It's still Sunday. I just wanted to get the gears turning a little bit. I wanted to show you, just wanted to show you all this and let you see what it was that I was looking at. And yeah, so the update video is out. I'd appreciate if you go like that, go watch it, comment, like it, all that. If anybody's in here hasn't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you went and subscribe to the channel. I live stream every day, Monday through Friday, market open to market close. I have a private Discord. It's linked. The link to that is in the description of this and every video, as well as on the About tab of the YouTube page. Same with Twitter and all that stuff. If you guys want to follow and want to subscribe and whatever, it's all there. But other than that, yeah, I'm going to let y'all go and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, as I'm going to try to do with mine. And I will see you guys. Discord, I'll be in there tonight, messing around, talking to you guys, posting up, getting the charts refreshed for the week. And I will see the rest of you in tomorrow's live stream or in the next video. I appreciate y'all stopping in and checking it out this morning here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.